Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. How's everybody doing this morning? I can see we have some friends over on our YouTube page already. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We've got Karen, Ian, Susan and Clive keen to come in and chat this morning. So I hope the weather's being kind to you wherever you are. It's quite sort of, I thought the hurricanes had, not hurricanes, I thought the storms had all blown over, so to speak. But we seem to have it sort of the tail end of Hermine, I think it was the latest one. So a little bit blustery out there this morning. But it's sunny, it's dry, but fresh and blustery. So the lovely Jane Telford is in the room with you this morning. So no doubt some of the other lovely design team members will be there as well. So if you have any questions, they're there to help. Hopefully you can hear me nice and clearly. So we've got Josie, we've got Jane, we've got Hazel. Good morning, Mr. Ken. There we go. Sound is all good. Thank you, Jane. So yeah, it's been a busy few days here at Clarity Towers. Where were we since we last met? Last Tuesday was Groovi Tuesday. Then on Thursday, it was in the shack with Barb on Thursday evening. And that was P4 Poppy. That was beautiful. And then on Friday, I was joined by the lovely Deborah Wheeler. And she was getting all stampy and inky and arty. But still sort of all about the mini makes as well, isn't it? And then yesterday, those people with Barb in the shack, they were amazing, absolutely amazing. And I think, as Barb said, if you did one, it may look a little bit odd, but when you have that whole community and all the rows, and all of a sudden you get better and you get better and you get better. Absolutely fantastic. So if you missed that, it's been all over Clarity Worldwide. All our friends have been sort of posting what they've come up with. Absolutely fantastic, really, really good. And then yesterday afternoon at 2:00, Clarity Social TV. Those grunge stamps. Yeah, you certainly love those, and you certainly love a bargain. And if you think, what's he going on about? What have I missed? What have I missed? Then you can go to the Clarity YouTube page and you can catch up on everything we do here at Clarity, from the Shack to Groovi Tuesday, to Clarity Social TV. If you go to the front of our website and there's a little button that says Clarity TV, you'll be able to see what's coming up for the upcoming shows. And then there's a catch up and craft button. Go on there and you can go back and see all of the other shows as well. So yeah, lovely to have everybody's company. Linda had an operation on her hand. Sorry to hear that, Linda. Hope everything went okay. Bexhill and Sea, we have what the weatherman call mist and murk, with a lot of rain and wind. Yeah, it's definitely sort of coming in, isn't it? So yeah, so here to keep you company for the next hour or so. And we've been working on some fantastic plates designed by the lovely Jazz, which we launched towards the end of last year. Now, if you're into the groove, and hopefully that's why you're tuning in today, have you seen the news? Have you? About the bog off? I know it sounds really weird, doesn't it? Buy one, get one free on all of our parchment. So that's the clear parchment, our two-tone parchment, the designer parchment. Just pop one of them in your basket, and then when they come to pick your orders, you'll get two of them. So nice and easy. I know many of you have been taking advantage of that already. But a little bit later on, we'll have a look at some colours. I've got some of my favourites I want to share with you. So yeah, so let's have a look at these plates from Jazz. Now, if you've been tuning in, then you're probably already familiar with them. Where's that bag come from? Okay, let's have a look. So now with the magic of our cameras, there we go. So we have it. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I know that I can. Look at that. And I haven't got to stretch. Look, it's all done by remote control. Magic. It really, really is. So, as I say, we released this collection last year. They're 2 A4 plates. There's a collection, which is item number 42401. You've got the Rosie one, which is 42396, which is the one we've been working on. And then you have a festive one, 422395. So let's pop this to one side and let's have a look at this one in a little bit more detail. So if I go back to this one, there we go. So you can see here, you've got 6 panels. Okay, let me just move that one out of the way. You've got 6 panels. They've been designed perfectly to fit within our Pergamano coasters. And today, I reckon we're going to finish up the project I've been working on, and we're going to put it into a coaster. Okay, so we've been working on this one particular design, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minimum, and then you have these lovely boxes down the side as well. What was that question? Did the lilies but not coloured them yet? Any suggestions, please? Okay, so the lovely Carla lilies. Now, yeah, I mean, they can be different colours, can't they? I think traditionally we tend to go for white because of that sort of potentially sympathy. But I know you can get some lovely reds and some burgundies, yellows. There's a really nice yellow. I'm sure I've seen a yellow. So you could use your pergaliner pencils on those. Maybe you want to, if you want to keep them white, then I would suggest a little bit of white work on there, and then just enhance that whiteness with a white pencil, just to intensify it. So that would look rather lovely on the lilies. So, right, message from Jane. Let me just have a read from Jane. Mini Makes page is now at 862 members. Swaps for February are still open, but they close on Friday, so that's the 31st. And then lists will be out on Saturday who your swap partner is. Now, if you're tuning in for the first time thinking, what's all this Mini Makes? What's this swap all about? Earlier in the year, Barb had an idea. It was sort of like new year, new idea. And she found that over the past year, especially with everything that's been going on at home and at work and things up at Oundle and everything else, there wasn't much time for creativity, so to speak. So people were losing their mojo. And on New Year's Day, Barb did a blog post, excuse me, and the response underneath that there was a lot of people in that same situation. So the idea was to create a brand new Facebook page, because we've got Clarity Worldwide, Groovi Worldwide, and Pergamano Worldwide, was to create a Clarity Crafts Mini Makes and ATC page. And the idea is that it's always more achievable to create small pieces of artwork, so you don't feel overwhelmed. And the response has been absolutely amazing. And we also brought together, there was 2 different swaps. There was an ATC, which is an artist trading card swap over on Clarity Worldwide. And then there was a PT swap, which is a parchment trading card swap over on Groovi. So we decided to put them all under one roof. If you want to take part, you can. If you go to the Facebook page, then the lovely ladies over there and gents will be able to help you out and tell you what's involved. You can join 1 month, you can miss a month, but maybe you want to do it on a regular basis. I did ask Jane what this month's what, I can't remember what she said it was for Groovi. I think the colour is blue. Oh yeah, Baby, It's Cold Outside. I wanted to try and get ahead a bit. Hasn't happened yet. So that's a great way. If you're just looking for some ideas and inspiration and you're not sure where to start, then yeah, it's a great place to go. And talking of the mini makes, last week we launched these mini make folders. So we had them in black. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring them in on the overhead. So we've got them in black and they're lovely. Item number for the black is 31755 and each page has got 4 pockets and it holds 160. Okay, so we've got them in black. Then we also had them in pink and blue, but they sold out. Anyway, I managed to get some stock back. So we've got a limited amount of stock on the pink, which is 31757. We have a limited amount of stock on the blue, 31756. And we decided to go for, because the supplier was quite low on these colours and they're not due to get any more stock back until I think it's middle to the end of March. So we went for a lovely zesty green. So if you want to add to your collection, then the green one is 31758. So look at that. This is lovely. Nice. I like the green one. But yeah, so we've now got 4 in the collection. As I say, the black, the pink and the blue, we've only got limited numbers. I literally cleared out the stock that they had at the suppliers of the pink and the blue. Green was a brand new colour just to keep things going. And it's all about, I think, at Clarity, this year is the year of colour. And I mean, that's a lovely colour palette, isn't there, to really introduce that. But it's also about the mini makes. And on Friday, Barbara's got a fantastic show all about mini makes for your stamping. And then something exciting coming on Sunday. But I'm not going to say anything more about that. So folders on the website, I'm sure Jane will pop the links up for you. But if you just go to our website and you put those numbers in, or just search mini makes on the Clarity website, and you'll be able to find. Actually, there's a little banner at the top. If you click there, you'll go in there and you'll be able to find them in there as well. Right, okay. So let's go back to this plate here. So we've been looking at this one, and I took my inspiration from a piece of artwork that Josie created. Okay. Ken says, oh, I love the green one. Just ordered a black one. Do I need another folder? Do you need another folder, Ken? Just the one, maybe? I'm not saying anything. Okay. Right. Okay. So this was a piece of artwork designed by Josie, and this is where I've taken my inspiration from. Now, Josie used our circular Pico dies to go for a circle because the frame has a circle. So here's a couple of pieces just to show some different options, so to speak. So I thought these were in order. Hang on, it's like playing cards, isn't it? Take the frame. Right, let's press this button. Whee! There we go. Take the frame, and you've got a lovely frame. You could put anything in there. And the size on this particular, I've got an inches ruler here. Hang on. I did have an inches and a centimetre ruler. So the size of this one in inches is, it's about 3 3/4 in diameter. Or if you're a centimetres person, it is about 9.5 centimetres. So it's a really nice sort of achievable size. Then if you take the plate exactly as it comes, and then you introduce, sorry Ken, sorry Anita, I'm sure you don't need another, but if you've got another storage folder, then at least you've got everything tidy and organised, and it's not messy and cluttering up everywhere, is it? So storage is a really good solution for your crafting, just saying. Okay, so take it exactly how it comes, trace it out, introduce the lines. Oh, introduce the lines, get them in the right order. There we go. So that's every single line that's on the plate. Remove some of the lines and it opens up that area there. Then this was something that Barb did, and this was all to do very similar sort of technique in relation to the Richelieu plates from Linda Williams, that pushing up and pushing back, pushing up with the dots and pushing back with the perforations. Right, let's see this camera now. If I come in really close on this one, there we go. So you can see using the basic grids to perforate, to emboss, and then also to perforate. Maybe you're not into your perforating yet. Maybe you want to go for just the embossed dots. That works rather lovely, doesn't it, in the background? And if I hold this up, I don't know if you can sort of see, it creates the illusion that you've sort of added colour without colour. But it really stands out here if you then perforate it. So if I hold that up at an angle, you can sort of see how the main rose is pushed forward and the perforations are pushing it backwards. Isn't this camera super? And then what I then also started to do was use the basic grids and the Guide to Grid Work book from Linda Williams to add a pattern in the background. So it's all about having choices. Okay, so what I did, I thought we'd keep it simple because I wanted to make a little coaster, make it mini. Okay, pop those to one side. So over the past few weeks, this is what we've been working on. Okay, now it looks quite dull because we're working on a black mat, but if I take a piece of white card and pop that underneath, you can see how we've been working on the colour, building it up, haven't we? And we've been using our pergoliner pencils, and we've been slowly building it up, doing one petal at a time. In the background, I've embossed all of the dots. So I thought this week what we'll do is we'll finish off this rose and we'll then pop them into a coaster. But this would also make a lovely little topper on a card as well. So it's all about having choices. Now, if I put white behind it, as I just did, you can see, I can see that lovely colour. So I'm really going to come in on this one now. And focus, there we go. So all the colouring has been done on the back, but you lose the whiteness of the traced out line and also the embossed dots. So what I did, I looked at some of our lovely companion papers and I decided that I would go with this sort of, it's sort of like an off yellow. And this has come from our companion papers. Okay, so this has this has come from Toscana, and it's got a lovely cut. You can see here I've sort of chopped this down, and then you can choose your different colors in there. I mean, if you wanted to go really bright, you've got that zesty orange, you've got the zesty yellow, some lovely greens, but you've got some peaches, a really nice sort of color selection there in the Toscana. Okay, so I went for Toscana for my one, and let me show you. If I introduce that behind it, okay, doesn't that let's come in now? Whee, there we go. So you can see it definitely gives it a little lift, doesn't it? Okay, so Pat says, I've got lots of coasters, done the artwork, can't find the coasters, tidied them up somewhere. Isn't that always the case? I know. So Glynis says she wants a purple folder, please. I don't think they may have done purple. I'm not sure. They may have been out of stock. I think they're waiting on a delivery. I think it's probably on the same boat that our ink pads and stencil brushes are on. So yeah, when they get more stock in middle of March, hopefully there'll be some more colours available. So we'll see. Never say never. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to work on the back again. And I've been working with our pergoliner pencils, and I've just been using 3, and these are the wax-based pencils. So I've used the B8, which is the yellow. I've been using the B9, which is the orange, and then the B11, which is that lovely red. And if you go back and watch on the previous episodes of Groovi Tuesday, I started off with a complete layer of the yellow to give it sort of like an undercoat. Then I used our Dorso oil together with a spot-on sponge and our fantastic blending pens. Okay, and that I allowed that base coat to go down first, okay, and build up, and then we've gradually gone through and added the colour. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to do my final layer of colour. I think this will be the 3rd layer, because if you leave it for a little while, I mean, a week is maybe a little bit extreme, but if you leave it for a while, then it gives a chance for the Dorso oil to completely evaporate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my Groovi guard, okay, and we're just going to focus, just like we've done previously, on one petal at a time. So I'm now going to go on, just light pressure, okay, with that orange over the back, like so. Okay. Oh, it's definitely raining here now because we have it's like a tin roof. I mean, it always sounds worse than what it is. Sally Adams, B for blendable. It is indeed B for blendable. So these are a wax-based, oil-based pencil, just like the Faber-Castell Polychromos. Okay, and then I'm going around the back with the orange. Working on the back is always a little bit safer, but can you see the difference already between this one here and this petal here? Okay. So if I bring in, if I pop that underneath there, can you see? Yeah, you can definitely see the intensity of the color on this one compared to that one. Okay. So then I'm going to move around to the next one, like so. And it's all about just taking your time and enjoying the process. So who's finished their pick? Lillian. oh, Lillian, you make me laugh. So someone just explained. So B is for blendable, but on the box they're called basic. And then Lillian has just said B stands for buy. B stands for buy. Oh, I like that. Oh dear. Okay. So I'm just using this orange, and the orange is a nice combination of bringing the red and the yellow together. Could I have gone straight on with the orange to start with? Yeah, I possibly could. But I like the effect of building up that gradual process. So now, look, can you see, if I turn this over now, can you see the richness of that colour compared to the petals above? Okay, so we're going to turn over. You can definitely see it on that side, can't you? And it's just about taking, rather than go all over it, it's all about enjoying the process. Okay, and we're just going to, it really does make a difference, doesn't it? And you can go back on and you can, I mean, for example, excuse me, Paul made me do it. Yeah, I don't mind taking the blame. It's, if you want to say, like, you started colouring in the yellow and then you put the red on and you didn't like what you did, you can take an eraser pencil and rub it all out and start again. Okay. But I love the effect of just building up the colours on the back. Now, you could also use, we do a set of 12 Faber-Castell polychromos, what Barb calls her essentials. They work exactly the same way as the B pencils in the pergoliners, and it has a lovely, there's a lovely sort of, there's a lovely pinky colour in there, which you could use maybe with the red as well to get a lovely pink rose. Where was it? I was over here, I think. There we go. So then it's all about just building it up. And if you feel after, oh, maybe I've gone a little bit too heavy, then you could take the pink end of the eraser and lift some of the colour off as well. Don't know why I went high pitched on that. But now all we're doing is we're just bringing, and as I get more central to the centre of that rose, I'm not worried about the lines. I'm just going in now and doing all of the petals in the centre, like so. Now, another top tip I got from Barbara, which I didn't realise, when you're working with the pencil, because it is a wax-based pencil, if you go on too heavy when you're colouring in, it stops working, so to speak, because what you're doing is you're sealing the tip of the pencil. So it's always good to have a decent sharpener when you're working with your pencils. And then all I'm going to do is just give it a little sharpen. Okay. Now I can definitely feel the difference in the application of the colour now that I've sharpened the pencil. Okay. And then we're just going to work our way around. We're almost there. I mean, because we've been doing this over several weeks, you're thinking, goodness me, how much time do I need to spend on one rose? But if I was doing this at home, then it would probably take a couple of hours, but it wouldn't take a couple of weeks. I don't know. Maybe it's always good to have a couple of projects on the go, isn't it? But I think this rose, and don't forget, this is just one image from that plate. Okay. So let's have a look. So I'm happy now with the colour that I've introduced. Do I want to go on the front? Personally, I don't. I just want to keep it exactly like that. Okay. But what I want to do now is sort of bring it together. So in order to do that, these little dots in here, I'm going to do a little bit of white work in those dots. So for that, I'm going to bring in, just for ease, I'm going to bring in my Pergamano pink matte. Okay. Still working on the back. And I'm just going to take my Groovi number, let's have a look, I reckon number 2, Groovi number 2 tool. And all I'm going to do now is it's an up and down, left and right motion. Okay. Just to and this is very achievable to create the white work. I'd say probably one layer will probably do it. Okay. But we'll have a look when we turn it over, because what I want to do is just add a little bit of white work, because these little dots are crying out to be worked this way. Okay. So achievable. It really, really is. Can we see that? Okay, yeah. Okay. I don't, this new camera, I don't have to do my Groovi yoga anymore. Because it's all done by remote control. You set it up in the morning, decide how far you want to come in, and then you just preset it, press the button, and off you go. And as Barb said yesterday in the shack, working with a white piece of paper, goodness me, that would have been a no-go on those little people yesterday with the old camera. So we've got a new camera, we've got new lights. So yeah, but I really like this little sort of effect of just adding that little bit of white work. Because I mean, this is if maybe you haven't traced out the little dots, maybe you left a little scallop frill empty. Because as we know with the Groovi, you can leave it empty, you can introduce the design that's on the plate. There we go. So let's turn that over. Yep, I reckon one layer will be sufficient for that. So now what I want to do is I'm going to put my pink mat to one side. Now I want to start to sort of bring it together. So I'm going to take that orange pencil, and first off, what I'm going to do is just add some colour to the frill. Okay. So just like we did at the very beginning of this rose, very light application of the pencil, because what we're going to do is use the dorso oil to blend that colour together to make it nice and smooth. Okay. There we go. I mean, you could do this in any colour you wanted to, but I like to keep that sort of tone-in-tone effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the pencil in here. And even though I'm going on lightly, I can feel that the pencil is sealing slightly. Remember I just mentioned that, so I'm going to take my sharpener, give it a little sharpen. You know what would also look rather lovely? If I hadn't had embossed the little dots and this was open, I could have used the metallic gel pens on the front to colour this in. That would have been nice, because you've got some lovely colours in the metallic gel pens. So Mr. Ken apparently has said, if I'm not doing as much Groovi yoga, maybe I should cut down on the chocolate and cake. I'm sure I'll be able to cope, Ken. I'm sure I will. Okay, so let's turn this over onto the wipe, onto the wipe, onto the wipe. So lovely soft colour, but we are going to blend that out. Okay, and then what I want to do now is I want to add colour to this, the square double frame. So there's a little bit of there's a top tip on doing that. Pergamano ruler. Okay. And all I'm going to do now is pop it up against the edge, like so, that white line. And then I'm just going to put some colour in that line. Okay. Now, if you don't use a ruler and you do it freehand and it goes over the edge, it doesn't matter because we know we can rub out the colour. But because I'm going to trim this down, I'm not necessarily worried about this outer line. I'm more worried about the inner part. Okay. So there we go. All the way round. You could do this with the lovely Perga pens as well. You've got 30 different colour options in there. Okay. And then round the outside. So this afternoon, I will be joined by the lovely Jazz. She'll be here to keep me company at 2 o'clock, together with our floral friends. So a lovely collection. Again, keeping it small. So let's bring this in now. See that, for me, I enjoy that sort of that tone in tone. I really like just keeping it all together. If I want to, okay, this is where I could go a little bit wrong now. Not wrong, but okay. Ooh, ruler on top. So what I'm going to do, let's try this. I'm going to put a little bit of red just in each of the corners. Not too much, just a little. Okay. There we go. Because we know if you were watching when we started on this rose, if the red is a more prominent colour, it's got more of a pigment to it, and it can overpower your design. But as I say, if you found that you put too much on, then you can remove it with the eraser pencil. Okay, so let's take a clean nib. Let's break out a new nib. So there we go, for my little storage container. There we go. It's always good. See, for me, the blending pens, when it comes to parchment, are the equivalent of the new stamp pens for stamping. You can never have too many blending pens. So I'm going to take my spot on sponge, a little bit of that on there. Smells lovely. I'm going to pick up a tiny, tiny amount, and if I go on here, you'll see how much oil is on there, that tiny little dip in there. So Groovi Guard, and then all I'm going to do now is work in a circular motion just to blend and go right up to the edge of the scallop. Okay. If you have a light panel, you'll definitely see, you'll think that you've gone up to the edge, but when you put a light panel underneath, you'll be surprised that how you haven't. But in the overall scheme of things, it looks okay. Okay, so I'm just blending out that colour. Let's put a piece of white card underneath so you can see the difference. Yeah, look at that. You can see where I've blended already and where I haven't. Okay. So there we go. You just work your way around And I'm just keeping this nice and easy. It's a really nice way of introducing colour to your work. Okay. Now, as we mentioned earlier, we currently have a bog off on our clear parchment, our two-tone parchment, and also our designer parchment. So exactly what I'm doing here, you could replicate in the coloured parchment or the designer parchment. And then in a way, you wouldn't necessarily have to add any colour. But we know if we tune in this afternoon, I'm going to be using some of our coloured parchment in a little demo, little tips and tricks this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Maybe you're new to Groovi, maybe you've only ever worked with clear parchment and don't know about our coloured parchment. So we'll put those through their paces this afternoon. And it's also great for stamping on. Many of you that have been following Clarity and Barbara for many, many years, you have seen various different demonstrations where she stamped on the coloured parchment and then taken the colour out. Okay, so let's have a look. There we go. So definitely got a difference there by blending in. And then what I'm going to do is take my ruler, just like I did with the pencil, and then I'm going to come in from the top. So I'm drawing that red now to the center, and then just to get a little color gradient going. Let's see if this works. I think it will. Okay, so just a little bit more dorsal oil, I feel. And I've got the edge of the ruler right on that white line. Okay. There we go. Oh, we're getting a bit carried away now, but I'm not worried because I'm going to trim this down in a moment so it will fit. It will fit in my little coaster. Okay. I think you could do this as a topper, as a little mini make. But if you did two of them, then you could do the coaster as a little gift as well. Maybe someone's birthday, anniversary, Valentine's. Maybe you still send Valentine's cards to people. There we go. So just use those nibs. There we go. Right, that's it. Yeah, look, you can just about see that sort of colour blend, can't you? Just in the corners. Okay. Pat, you've got to stop blaming me. I wasn't even on air yesterday. Oh no, I wasn't I, with Barb yesterday afternoon. But Barb, if you bought the stamps, then it was Barb that made you buy the stamps. Don't forget there's a free craft along. If you invested in those stamps or you already have them in your collection, there's a free craft along on Thursday, the 20th of February at 7 p.m. They're just building the ingredients list and it will be available later today on our website. If it's there at 2 o'clock, I'll show you where you can find that so you can download and print that off and start building your checklist. So we were talking about the bog off on the coloured parchment. So let me see if I'm going to go to this button and I'll bring in, look, I've got bog off indeed. Okay. Right, let's have a look. So A5 parchment, put one of those in your basket, we send you two. A4 parchment. Pop that in your basket. We send you 2. Okay. Now let's start to have a look at some of these colours. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Let's see. There we go. So we can see the colours. So this is willow green and meadow green. 2 tones. You've got the lovely sort of bright green. 40770. Now there is a section on the website. If you go across the top of the website, where I think it says like stamps, Groovi, there's a little button that says bog off parchment. Click there and it will take you straight into it. Okay. Alternatively, if you like some of the colors, you can just pop that in and that will come up straight away for you. So willow green and meadow green, item number there. This is one of my favorites. This is the midnight blue and the sky blue. So the midnight blue is the closest to black you'll get. Okay, and I showed you last year how you can intensify that color by putting black card behind it, and it's almost black. So you've got that one there. Then we've got baby pink, soft and gentle, 10 sheets of that. Another one of my favorites, the peach and the nutmeg. So if I do that, you can see, look, you've got those lovely rich colors there. Then primrose yellow and olive green. Okay, there's that really nice green. I like that one as well. Then we have pear green and apple green. Okay, you can see the difference on those. Another of my favorites, the petrol blue and the smoky blue. Like so. And I know this one's always popular, the periwinkle blue and the very violet. Whoops, there. Pine needles and sage green. Then we have light ivory, perfect for weddings, anniversaries, christenings, birthdays. Then you've got your ivory. So if I show you those a comparison, can you see? So you've got your light ivory, and then you've got your darker ivory. There's not much in it, but if you're building up layers, then this is a lovely pair to go for. Then we've got the light rose and the rose. So you can definitely see the difference between those two. Okay. Then I like this one as well. I think Josie Davison really likes this orange and orange squash and lime twist. It is really zesty. Okay. And these are a lot brighter than you can see, because obviously you've got 5 orange and 5 of the green. Another one that's always popular, the dusky pink and the rich plum. One of Barb's favourite colours, this is the teal, dark teal and light teal. Then maybe you're a pink person, Jane. You've got pink and you've got light pink there. And then finally, you've got your green and your light green as well. So there's lots of lovely shades of greens in this collection. And don't forget, it's not just for parchment, for Groovi, because you can stamp on it. It's great for die cutting, matting and layering. And at that price, the bog off price, you really wouldn't be worried about using it in that way, would you? So, so this afternoon, I'll choose the colour this afternoon, and I'll do a little demo on that just to show a couple of tips and tricks. Jane Telfer says orange and lime green is her favourite as well. So yeah. Right, so let's go back to our lovely rose and we can finish this off in this session. So I've got my piece of artwork that I've been working on. I've chosen a piece of the Toscana, which is going to complement it and go behind. Okay. And then what I need to do is cut this down. So one of my best friends when it comes to crafting, okay, is my Japanese craft knife. Okay. Now, let me move this out of the way. Okay, and I'm going to come in really close. Okay, let it focus. Is it going to focus? There we go. Look at that. The angle of the blade, you get two different angles in the set. And you've got it, it's so lightweight, it's ergonomic, and I love the precision of using this knife. I've always been sort of, back in the day, I've always been a knife person, and I had I don't even know where it is now. It was thinner than this, but it was never as comfortable as what this one here is. And I always prefer a smaller blade. I know some people use like larger blades, or sort of like Stanley knife blades. To me, they're just too big. I don't have the control. But with this, if I get the ruler, just to, where's that ruler gone? I put it somewhere safe, and I've got everything covered up. Let's take my Pergamano ruler, just so that you can sort of see. So the blade is about 1¼ centimeters, but it's just lovely to work with. I know I'm really sad. I really am. So let's just come back out one level. There we go. So I'm going to use my blue craft mat for my cutting on. I've got my Pergamano ruler, which has my Groovi grip on the back. Okay, to stop it. If I take the Groovi grip off and I place that on my parchment, look how easy it slides around. Okay. And then if I take my Groovi grip, so it comes with 2 A4 sheets. I've got 1 A4 sheet on my light panel, and then I've just cut a sliver just for it to fit behind the ruler. Okay. Now, look, the parchment moves, but the ruler's not moving. Okay. I'm working along the steel edge of the ruler, so that's going to go right up and just cover the white line of my outer frame. I'm going to take my blade, and there's no rules to say that you have to cut with one pass of the blade. Okay, if you don't feel very confident using a craft knife, then just go over it several times with light pressure and it will cut through. So then I'm going to turn it round, just like so, reposition the ruler, and I've got confidence with the ruler and the Groovi grip. Okay, I know that that isn't going to slide and cut into my work. How do I know this? Many years ago on live TV, before we had the Groovi grip, I did exactly this, and because I wasn't concentrating and talking, as I brought the knife round, the ruler went into my work and I cut my work. So the Groovi grip definitely, and I'm not applying a lot of pressure, I'm just holding it in place. Okay, just like so. And for me, I've got the precision with the ruler and the craft knife as opposed to a guillotine. You know, it's like a guillotine. Sometimes you need to get it in the right place, and then you cut a little bit more and a little bit more. But for me, I know many of our friends at home maybe have 1 or 2 of these little craft knives in their collection. Also, I'm sure that hole in the top is there for a reason, but look, that's what I think it's for, so you don't lose the cap. And also, when you put it down, it doesn't roll. That it doesn't say that. I don't think it says that on the box, on the packaging. But for me, that's what I would use it for. Putting it on the end, and then it stops the knife rolling around. Okay, so now I'm going to take my coasters. I'm going to break out a new pack of coasters. So you get 4 coasters in the pack. Okay, like so. And then inside we have our coasters. I can see my reflection. That's how lovely and shiny they are. Now, often get asked, how do you open them? Because you have this sort of like, it looks like a recess, and you think, oh, I've got to lift it out from there. They actually open from the side. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take my fingernail, and then you just get in between there. Okay, you could use a 1 needle tool if you wanted to. Okay, and then that opens up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my rose on the inside so it's face down. Then I'm going to take my lovely companion paper, which I've cut it just under 3.5 inches. Okay, then I'm going to take the lid and pop that in like so. Now, to make sure that they don't sort of click closed, because obviously depending on what you've put in there, I mean, it's closed, but it won't stay closed. So the best thing to use for that, I think Barb showed you in when you was doing that lovely cut work, then I would use a red liner high tack tape just to keep that closed all the way around. Okay, and there you have your lovely rose. So you could have a collection of these in different colours. And often we sort of say, like, try and, I know I'm terrible for doing it. I always go to the same colourways. So sometimes you have to think outside the box. Maybe go for colours that you wouldn't necessarily go for. Don't be scared to experiment. If you're not sure about getting your colours to work together, just trace out part of the design you're working on a scrap piece of parchment, and then just try your colours, blend it. And if you don't like it, you can just take your eraser pencil and just rub it out. So, so yeah, I'm really chuffed to bits with my little coaster. Yeah, I like that. And wouldn't that make a lovely gift? And for me, what brings it all together is that companion paper in the background. Let's come in close on that to see if it will. There we go. So for me, as I say, the companion paper really does bring it together. I could spend a little bit more time and add a little bit more depth if I want to, but I'm really happy with what I've created there. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for your company. I'll be back again at 2 o'clock with the lovely Jazz. Don't forget, we've got the brand new green mini makes folder in stock. We've got a limited amount of the pink, the blue and the black. And then once they're gone, we have to wait for the supplier to get them back into stock. So thank you to the lovely Jane and the design team for helping out. I think I've got everything covered. I'm going to go and have a fresh cup of coffee and then clear this lot away and then work out what I'm going to do at 2 o'clock. So enjoy the rest of your morning, and hopefully I will see you all at 2 o'clock. Take care now. Bye-bye.